So let's get to it. I'm going to go take communion. That's so later that night. That's a Sunday night at 7:43. It looks like. Still no objections to me violating you and federal law like I have been right here. I have made radically credible threats to turn the world's capital into glass with a nuclear bomb. Threatened to kill a Navy prosecutor. Confessed to capturing and holding hostage a serial killer that the Navy refuses to prosecute. Well, I'd say you have the patience of a saint. But it turns out I got more intel on your catalog of sins today. Is it less offensive to you if I call them crimes instead of sins? Turns out you're an innovator. Safe to say you'll never practice law again. The first book I read about making a nuclear bomb was about the size of a dictionary. You want to pretend to yourself that you don't believe me. Isn't he a Christian? He wouldn't hurt the innocent. I don't think he'd be okay with collateral damage. Well, the problem with that is that's exactly what we all believed when we saw you off to war. They're Christians, off to go help. Well, not exactly. So today I learned that ER, or emergency room, was colloquial for extermination. Prisoners in column B had no idea they were to die. So the rape games were bewildering to them. The consequent slicing, mutilation, and dismemberment was a radically greater horror because it was things the human mind had never conceived before. And then the joke was to mimic consolation by saying things like, get him to the ER, or we'll get you to the emergency room. This was a location of equal horror because they would learn there that they were to be put to death, often in even greater horrifying ways, such as turning up the heat to 300 degrees. I learned today that you embrace these activities and innovated in surprising ways. I'd have to ask you, do you have any idea why this odium might be first placed at your feet? It's interesting to me that Jesus has decided that you've drawn the short straw. So it seems plain to me that the luxury for you has been that you get to write, star, and direct in your own drama. Wouldn't that be accurate to say, counselor? Oh, wow. Okay, there it is. I guess I'm a little slow on the uptake there. So that's why you've drawn the short straw here. I prefer a peaceful life, man. My thing is libraries and coffee and cake and museums. But I think I can see why I've been sent to ragdoll you. You were vicious to the innocent. And now it's my pleasure to make your fucking acquaintance. Listen to me, darling. You're gonna be fine. Let's just set aside all this FBI stuff for another night. Everyone will understand how uncomfortable you must feel. I mean, you only have 3 days left. Will it really make all that big of a difference if you tell them that there's a nuclear bomb about to go off with only 2 days left, or even 1 day? Maybe I've misread things again. Do you think rather that they might be totally fucking enraged and apoplectic and beat the living shit out of you when they find out? Oh, no, that's more like it. I guess DC won't be hosting any All-Star games anytime soon. I guess that's it then. opening move and then checkmate. Bobby Fischer once said something like, there's some 350 million possible moves in chess. But in the end, there's really only one right move. You probably feel like there's no precedent for something like this. I disagree. I see history a little differently sometimes. I drink your milkshake. I drink it up. It's interesting to me that the last few lectures or talks I've given, I feel like I've talked about several of these things. I did not plan that. I thought I was never going to do these videos. I never was going to look at these text messages ever again. That's the honest truth. I've already recorded these. Thought I was done forever. Excuse me. You probably feel like there's no precedent for something like this. I disagree. I see history a little differently sometimes. You never hear anyone talk about how awesome the Nazi Party was. Even had a great discussion with a German professor about it. Man, I just said all this. The Nazi Party was cooler than Michael Jordan, the iPod, and YouTube put together. This is how I shocked my professor. I said, you must understand the SS saw themselves as doing the hard work no one else in the world was willing to do. Eugenics was all the rage at the time, and the Jews were collectively hated. The final solution seemed a perfectly reasonable response to them. We always pretend to look back at Hitler and Nazis as evil. In my view, it was cooler than Mai Tais and Bora Bora. And I don't believe they viewed themselves as evil. They were the super cool frat house nearest to Sorority Row. Human beings actually aren't that intelligent. Look at the banking crisis of 07-08. Goldman Sachs, perhaps the most sophisticated greed machine in history, ran the economy like a jetliner directly into the side of a mountain. How could they and nearly every other investment bank misread the market even when they had an analyst telling them, we're doomed, we must get out of subprime now? In retrospect, we're shocked with our conduct, but at the time we were all having the time of our lives. The public did not know that we were sending soldiers over there who had given themselves radical license to get revenge. We can see our stupidity and naivete in retrospect. I understand that rape and rapine was a thing amongst some armies throughout history. I think Jesus' position on this matter right now, I think the word he used with me is that it is anachronistic. I had to look it up. It just means belonging to a different time period. I imagine you can see his position. We pass ourselves off as the most enlightened, refined, successful, and powerful superpower in history, and yet we find ourselves treating our poor neighbors and little sisters in this manner. Have you ever heard the phrase, in D.C., God remembered everything but the weather? When the nuclear physicists come down to talk to FDR about whether it could be built or not, that's one thing they observed. It's extremely beautiful in D.C. The weather is fucked up. It's true. That's what they said when they left. They say, in this place, God remembered everything but the weather. Fuck it, man. It is a shithole here. It's physically attractive. Other than that, fuck it. It's kind of like my stepmom. Physically attractive. Other than that, get the fuck out. Have you ever heard the phrase, in D.C., God remembered everything but the weather? I'm not better than you, man. She's deleted stuff. I mean, Let's keep going. I'm not better than you, man. C.S. Lewis once wrote, "We're all equally bankrupt, just some not yet declared." However, are prosecutors not held to a higher standard? So do you think that statement about DC is accurate? God remembered everything but the weather? Well, if that file is not in Agent Haddock's hands by 5 p.m. Wednesday, I'm going to deliver the weather. The statement in D.C., God remembered everything but the weather, was spoken by a physicist sent to D.C. to advise President FDR about whether an atomic bomb could actually be made. FDR finally gets him in the Oval Office and asks, "So, is something like this even possible? Can a nuclear bomb actually be made?" The physicist responds, no way. You'd basically have to turn the entire country into a factory. You'd have to mine so much uranium. And FDR just looked right back at him and says, "So it can be made." And it would be a grave error to forget the bunny rabbit for my niece. The voicemails, he says, "Look, Mr. Wright, I just wanted to know," when I told him I have the file of my stuff I'm giving to him and hand it over to, so I'm going to deliver that coup de grace by going to Bernie Sanders and turning this matter over to him and let him work out. Let him and his staff work out with it, you know. Let him drink some of the milkshake. He immediately, he called me super fast, and that was the voicemail. He said, "I just want to know if you're still willing to come in for an interview." He wants to control the narrative. He wants to find out. I'm doing the interview, asshole. You got that? I'm doing the interview. I'm not good with these things, but I found that online, thought that would be kind of a nice touch. You still want to interview, fuckface? Want to know how I know you guys haven't done the most basic glance at my storage units in Navy Yard? Because I'd be getting waterboarded by FBI and Homeland Security right now if you had. What a good soldier you make, Joe. Would you not agree then that nothing short of a nuclear bomb would compel you to do the right thing? That can easily be deduced here, can it not? I'm threatening a nuclear bomb to get that information, and even that, it's very clear here, right? That what he has in his file and in his office is more potent than a nuclear bomb. This is abundantly clear, is it not? You think any Navy officer is ever going to let somebody ragdoll his fat ass like that? They have a great deal of pride. It's about to get radically worse. Look at that. I feel like an attorney. A Hoya lawyer. Monday, middle of the night, 1 o'clock in the morning. I'm not a bad man, but sometimes I have to ask myself, what would a bad man do? Maybe you, Laura, and Omar will just get like a warning or something. It doesn't look like you'll be feeling better anytime soon. But you know who will be? My fucking niece. Damn the torpedoes, eh? No, I don't sleep. Were you not listening, my main man? I haven't slept in 11 years. Is it just me, or things getting crazier out there? Jesus once said, the heart is exceedingly wicked. Who can know it? Joseph Warpinski. He knows it. So here real soon, you're going to be a big advocate for prison reform. Well, ain't that ironic? How you like being crushed like fresh fruit, asshole. You got any Wall Street friends? They should probably be long on gold. You sure didn't have this ambivalence in the Middle East. What's the trouble? Hey, you see yourself more in the mold of Billy Yank or Johnny Reb. Maybe more like Benedict Arnold. Well, just got a cheerful escort through Capitol Hill security checkpoint. You're an enormous sack of shit. You rated your rape victims. How would you rate this one? I need you to deliver the complete file to Agent Haddock downtown immediately. I would say to also deliver the bunny rabbit there as well, but there was this occasion about a year ago that I had breakfast at the Lincoln Waffle House. As I'm leaving, an FBI agent was walking a very small dog with an FBI collar. It was perfectly clear to all onlookers that dog hadn't been walked for weeks. It was so embarrassing, it demanded I cut the tension with a joke. I said, well, it must be his birthday. So just the file for now. You like a sharp K-bar fuckboy? Towering over 95-pound women and cutting their tits off? You love doing it with your uniform on. Rookie of the Year. I'm sorry, but I feel compelled to ask. Do you not want my friendship? I can send one of the chipmunks over to hold you. You had the girls audition. If they were chosen, everyone behaved as if that person was the lucky winner. All right, congratulations, look at you. They had no idea their fate was actually to be viciously fucked, mutilated, and tortured to death. Then to restore hope as they were bleeding out, you'd behave as if everyone was on their side again. They'd say, "We'll get you to the ER." Then, sadistic shock again, a horrifyingly slow coup de grace. If a person claimed to be ill or caught venereal disease, you'd act helpful and say, "Let's get you better. Let's go to the ER." Where they were met with a far more horrifying fate than had they just suffered and died in the original horrifying condition you had left them. And food, you sick fuck, went straight to the kitchen and fucked it up wholesale. How fucking small. Isn't all sadism juvenile, though? Look at you, Angel. You're living the examined life now. I'm so proud of you, baby. As you like it. You score any adrenochrome over there? You have to remove the pineal gland from a living person to get it. Satanists do it. Oh, you were drunk? That early in the morning? Your bandwidth has radically diminished. You're not dominating people. You can't concentrate. You're hiding the face of your phone. You wear women's panties. Okay, one of those is a red herring. Don't lose your sense of humor. I'm going to need a way to crush you again later. Unfortunately for you, yes, it is a thing. And that's exactly what the people thought. Not only our republic, but the population you were sent to pacify. War atrocities by U.S. military, that's not a thing. No to the pistol. That's funny. I thought you and Laura were down with psychological horror. You don't like people nesting in your head? Perhaps the holiest recesses of a person's private life. Welcome to the new age. Perfect. Yes, enough. I'm waiting for you to contact the FBI. No, we're not good. There was a U.S. soldier being held hostage in Portland, Oregon, and I'm threatening to blow up the world capital and take 6 million people with me if you do not turn over that complete file to Agent Haddock and get my niece a new bunny rabbit. We are anything but good. It's Monday, you idiot. Start with breakfast. Barry Manilow at a time like this. Work on your alibi. Good. No, get your own counsel. Get your own counsel. Not him. No, he's too old. No way. Do you even read the paper? Oh, now it's going off the rails. But it wasn't 3 weeks ago? Then if that's the case, you now have a mentally ill man with a very large bomb at the Navy Yard. No, they'll give you multiple life sentences for it. And no, I don't think I'll be around for that. Then get back to work. I ain't holding you up. But I'd have to ask, why go back to work when I intend to detonate my nuclear weapon during the State of the Union address on Thursday? Think, Warpinski, think. Oh, you're suddenly so polite with everyone. What were you hoping to get from them? A little mercy, compassion, understanding? Understand this, asshole? I have a 2,200-pound nuclear bomb in my Navy Yard storage unit. Don't say you're sorry. I'll know you're sorry when Agent Haddock is given the complete file. Oh, now you're suddenly considerate of the women. How thoughtful. It's just how these things go, man. People will not understand the trap set for you on your way to this wickedness. The mental gymnastics, silly justifications, and so forth. Are you calling my name? It's out of my hands. Only Jesus can help you now. You're in an inescapable trap, son. I win no matter what. The only question that remains is how badly do you want to lose? No redactions. You will hand the file to the FBI that destroys the military. Otherwise, I detonate and I destroy the military. That's the trade. Oh, now you're sucking everyone's ass. You make me sick. Okay, you can't do it. I didn't think you could. It absolutely destroys the military, and given the choice between destroying yourself or a civilian population, I was pretty sure which way you'd go. You choose yourself again. Well, you choked as predicted, but I won't. So what's the procedure? Then get some water. Of course you want out of DC, but everyone deserves to have the same option as you, so what's the procedure? No, that's not a viable option. We have to have the video. Again, you're going to prison no matter what. I can't do your job for you, son. No mercy. You go fuck yourself. This totally justifies my radical actions, though. A nuclear bomb. In junior high, they asked us to consider if we should have detonated a nuclear bomb off the coast to show Japan its destructive power. Well, that's bull junk because they still didn't surrender after Hiroshima. A ski mask? What the hell for? Well, I think they might figure that out. Like in Superman? You're making my head hurt. No, your family doesn't run. Need to change hands, you guys. My hands. Sorry, my hands. Stand by here. Please help, Mary. You're making my head hurt. No, your family doesn't run. But all you do is work out. What do you think they do in prison? They work out. Your brother? He's got his own growing up to do. If he enabled your bullshit. That don't make no sense. Why would he hurt you? Don't he know you're a blowhard? Would he hurt you for doing the right thing? Well, then I can't help you with that. You feel like a rat in a trap? Good. You'll be afraid to be seen in public? Who friggin' cares? My niece has been without a bunny rabbit for 4 years. We all got troubles. Move to the woods. I don't know what to tell you. Yes, this is a crucifixion. So let me give you some advice that will appeal to your way of thinking. A faithful soul is more powerful than hell. A crucified soul is more powerful than 1,000 hells. I know you don't want your brother to think you were played. You don't like people jerking the fuck out of you? An atomic bomb is going off and you're going to detonate it. So you're going to run. I can't say I don't understand that. But then I get the file anyway, and you're proven a coward. But California, don't. As Biggie Smalls says, I live out there, so don't go there. Actually, no, to the West Coast. No, I'm dead serious, all of it, from Seattle down to Baja. I think I'd be okay with Alaska. I don't think the British would take you in Canada, but if they're cool with it, I guess I would be too. We're talking crimes against humanity. I just laughed so hard. Thank you. Did you actually say I'm sorry about the rabbit? That was a serious thing, you guys. I was like, thank you. I was like, finally something fucking decent coming out of you. Well, yeah, and if I could go back in time, I'd warn Puffy and Big about the Rampart scandal. And if my grandma had balls, she'd be my grandpa. Well, what did Sherman say when he got to Atlanta and they tried to reason with him? Appeal to the thunder. Buddy, you're really running out of time. My favorite sports writer once said, "You can run towards the sun or run away from it, but if you stand still, the decision is made for you." I think the essay was titled, "God's Away on Business." You guys should read that essay. It's freaking fantastic. You're welcome in advance. In other news, he's back. God's away on business. In other news, he's back. You're moving? Huh. Do you think you should warn about 6 million other people that they should move too? Don't take my chair. I think I've just been informed you will likely be put into a position whereupon you are forced to shag Fanny back to D.C. Okay, New Orleans sounds nice. Didn't Whitey Bulger hide out on that island right there? Grand something? Grand Isle. Is that how you view yourself? Of course it's not your fault. Who would you like to blame? I have to say there's something of a real powerful lust over here for the data on the electrocution games. We're all wrecks. Every last humping one of us. I understand. It's a hairpin turn. You know what I think? Go fuck yourself. I'd say you're safer on the base, but I don't think you're safe anywhere. The moment you I send the chipmunks to viciously fuck, slice, and cook you at 350 degrees. The moment you leave. Just move past consensus and opinion. People will never get that right. They'll hate you for all the wrong reasons and they'll love you for all the wrong reasons. Grow up. All right, let me see what I can do for you. I'm starting to feel a whole lot more positive about all this. I'm going to head into a meeting. I think I'm feeling something here. Just spitballing. What if I can get the genocide reduced down to a formal write-up in your file? Believe you me, it's a hypothetical. But would that do anything for you? Hey, I heard there was a ban on the song Sweet Caroline. I have no idea why. Do you know? I was just singing it and then it hit me that somebody was offended. Never mind, you're probably not in the mood to sing today. Want to cuddle? You're going to do it? Seriously? Have you been drinking? Dude, if you need a few shots to steel your nerves, I say go for it. Bro, this is legit harder than running through a machine gun in Vietnam. Yes, sir, and I'm very sorry to hear about that. It will make you look like a totally different person. That's why I had to create a radical consequence that is more dreadful. If you don't do it, you will ipso facto look worse to continue doing nothing. State of the Union address in 2.5 days. Anybody on Capitol Hill recognize this photograph? Have you ever sat on that crapper? I'm sitting on a toilet. I'm not really sitting on the toilet. Where I'm standing is a toilet. See the brown door to the left? It's at the Senate office building. Randy George, you ever pooped on that can? Everyone's probably tired. I'm tired. It's Christmas. You want to fuck, bitch? Laura moved these messages around. I remember my next one being, you want to fuck, bitch? And then I wrote, I'm the guy who wants you to sit there and do jack shit. Those are photographs of the bathroom inside the Dirksen Senate office building. I can't believe I found it. I was sitting there on the can. Like that. And I gave that door a little try. She tries to soften the blow. There's stuff like, it's all pretty much the same. Me working out on his fat ass, working out on a soldier, on an officer, but she tries to soften the blow and the cut. She moved that around. I think my next line was, you want to fuck, bitch? After I send him those pictures, you understand in 2 days, do you understand in 48 hours or 72 hours, you're probably 50 hours from when I sent that Monday morning. I sent those pictures on Capitol Hill. There's going to be a State of the Union address in 50 hours. It is the big boom. And here I am showing photographs of where I'm going to place the num-nums. On Capitol Hill, inside the Senate office building. It really cannot get worse. Where's that fucking bunny? You guys, I'm upset about what my little niece has gone through. Her father ran into troubles when she was yet a baby and had to go away, and I did what I could, and it's very hard to see children hurt. Really upset about that, but you guys ever seen the show Westworld? They have this really interesting sequence. What's that song? It's a guy that's depressed, and dun 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 dun. Dun 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 dun. I see a white door or red door, and I want to paint it black. His girlfriend or his wife died or something. He's depressed. He wants to paint he wants everyone to feel how depressed he is, or something like that. But anyway, there's a really cool sequence in the show Westworld with that song. So it's kind of what I had. At this point, I'm pretty fucking lit up. I'm sending a Navy officer photographs. You're 2 days away from the State of the Union. This couldn't be more fucked up. Life's over. Not only for him, life's over for me. It's done. But I tried to tell him, dude, I was crucified long ago. You're dealing with a soldier it's the worst kind. I'm dead. I said, you have shit to lose. That's what makes you so vulnerable. I told him, I said, you're mine, bitch. I mean, it's over, you know. So now I'm just celebrating. I see a white door, and I'm gonna paint it black. Maybe they can have him give the speech from a vault. Joe, come Thursday, I intend to detonate my nuclear weapon from the Navy Yard. I just needed America to know with those pictures that instead of fucking your wife in the mouth, I'm fucking you in the ass from the Navy Yard. Die slow, motherfucker. Conducive, Buddy, you're a humping dreamer. As if meaning is not conveyed here. Let me try again. Wednesday plus failure equals explosion. My chipmunks? No, you're right. No, they didn't fly here. Bro, you don't look so good. Panic stricken. There's moral hazard in everything, I imagine. In investment banking. If a business comes to you needing money and you represent the investment as sound to investors, withholding reservations that they may go bankrupt, well, that's moral hazard. I think it was the psychotic viciousness of September 11 that soldiers granted themselves license to lift all conventions on decency. Dude, you're guilty, but very good defenses need to be presented for you and others so we can learn where we erred. I think you should immediately speak with private counsel and see if he or she can get you a deal for coming forward. Something maybe that recognizes it takes a champion to do what needs to be done here. I'm saying as for immunity. You have to hear me. We both know that file is congruent with my nuclear weapon. When they find out its contents, they will know that you were aware I was not bluffing. You're going down, try for immunity. I'm not fucking with you, man. DC's getting shut down. I'm going to call your bluff. Tell them you want something for paving the way. No, this city is not wild. Nothing of this kind has ever been attempted. Russian defectors once offered to sneak nuclear suitcases into Moscow, and we were shocked just by the proposition. Welcome to fuck. Uh-oh, that's bad. I don't think I want to say that here. We'll call this a cultural exchange. I teach the feds how to engineer a revolution, and they teach me how to waterboard. You're looking to teach at university? No. From prison, yes. So you're just thoroughly rotten. Oh, I guess I said, so you're just thoroughly rotten. You didn't just take 2 pieces of candy. Shit. A trick is something a whore does for money or candy. You're a Milford man, ain't you? He was to be neither seen nor heard. He was awfully quiet in there. At that point, I'm just digressing in a couple of jokes. It's very stressful at this point, what's happening, as you can imagine. There's no way out for either one of us at that point. He knows that we're both done. So I just made some, what's that called? Arrested Development jokes. Is it kind of a show? Dude, I guess it's possible this wouldn't have been found out if Laura didn't go on a killing spree. Weird. You're a goner. I don't have the slightest idea how you charge people with crimes. When could someone like you actually say, dude, that's too far? That's your blue heaven to have slaves? Oh, shoot. Yeah, here we go. 2 unexpected and substantial variables have arisen in the last 18 hours, have given rise to concerns about what will transpire. Extremely rare variables. This is serious. All I can say right now is that I'm concerned, and it's substantial enough for me to say I'm uneasy. I don't know what to say. That's all I have to say. I think it's fair to say there's a possibility I will not be here Friday. I now I now have genuine concern. I'm now at this point, and this is a serious thing. When you have coups, like say the January 6th thing, have they actually been honest with themselves about what they're trying to do? They attempt a real coup. Well, things can go wrong. And so you have, and sometimes, like you say, you have an army that invades Berlin, and then somehow, and it's supposed to go a certain way. Well, then you say you have an attempted, somebody tries to, like a mutiny. Well, these are unprepared shit. Like he doesn't know, who I'm working with or what's happening. I'm letting him know there's something has happened in my circle that gives me, here's a good example. In the 13 days of this wasn't the Bay of Pigs, it was when they got the missiles into Cuba. They received two different letters from Moscow. One was from Khrushchev himself. They could tell from the FBI psychologist profilers could tell the first letter was genuinely from Khrushchev, and the second one was from Khrushchev written under serious duress. It was clear that now they were doing groupthink. KGB had closed in, and now they're thinking together, and they're demanding Khrushchev send a letter like this. So you have, it's a real problem. You're negotiating with one guy. Well, now this one guy is taken over by the first one was Khrushchev. The second one is Khrushchev being told what to do by it was clear that he was under too much stress. Something had changed. The Kennedy White House didn't know how to respond to that. The solution they came up with was pretend you didn't get the second letter, correspond with the first letter. I'm now telling Warpinski something has happened inside my inner circle, and it's true, something had. I was being honest. I'm saying I'm an individual. I represented the entire time at the table as I'm rattling my chips. I have commanded this table, you are fucked and it's over. And I've done nothing for the last 10, 12, 13, 14 days but dominate him in every conceivable way. The cocksucker actually called me during early on. I can't believe you fucking respond, gee whiz, that means it just gets worse for you now, But now I'm introducing now I'm at the poker table rattling my chips, and I said, hey, there's been two variables that give me pause and concern about the certainties that I can offer you as the counterparty. It'd be like Khrushchev saying to Kennedy, this, and this, and we can get along. And Khrushchev having to say, okay, a couple things have happened over here that affect my ability to guarantee you the last things that I said. Do you understand? It's a pretty simple thing. Out of fairness here, I need to let you know the table over here has been put on slant. I said those other things with great conviction, what I could offer and what we could do as a trade. Now things have come out about here in Moscow and that's what they picked up in the two completely different letters, right? But I tell him here, I said, I now have genuine concern. Now he almost certainly sees this as an opportunity. Oh my gosh, this might be the salvation I need. When Vespasian and Titus and the Roman army is arrayed outside Jerusalem, and they're telling you, it's over, it's over, it's over, surrender, it's over. And then, a couple months in, they say, okay, we actually have a problem on our end, but I'm not sure how that's going to affect you. So I think he probably saw this as his opportunity. This is, he needs anything other to happen than what is happening right now. Anything else. So I think he was hoping this might be my salvation. Sometimes that's all you're left with, right? But I say I now have genuine concern. What people need to understand is that I did not introduce nuclear weapons to DC. There has been one nobody knew about in the Navy Yard. I had to introduce one of my own for parity. When people discover what NCIS and the entire War Department has been sitting on, they will understand my actions as reasonable and agreeable. I will prevail. I saw what can only be described as an angel of fire, or very likely worse, and I'm moved to tears by the thought of it. The other thing I'm afraid to talk about, I can't right now. I'm just slightly wobbled, but there is no truce. Without question, with Jesus, Mary, and Joseph's aid, I will charge like Pickett. I am equal to this task. Then Wednesday night is the 5, 6, 7. Was it Thursday night or Wednesday night? I think it was Wednesday night was the State of the Union address. It's, it's our big thing, man. I want people to know that I'm not fighting the Navy. When the Navy defaults such as this, it falls back into the hands of those Americans willing to restore it to itself. Until properly restored, I am the Navy. In my extended family, the military was always mingled with our family, religion, and country. The slogan, God, family, country, always felt like ours. This was no occasion to help myself or take aggression on an enemy. I don't even dislike this guy. It was as pragmatic as pulling a weed. This cancer must be dislodged. Right there, you see, I change voices again from speaking to him directly to speaking to a wider audience. And sometime later, just continue to try a variety of angles. You work the body in a variety of different ways, work his head in a variety of different ways. And I don't use, I think they call them memes or something. I don't know what a meme is, but I'm now taunting him for not contacting the FBI. This is the most radical thing. He now has a serious problem. He now has a man who said all these things, and right before as we're 72 hours out or so from the State of the Union address, now the man says, I've seen an angel of fire. He's talking, either this is the realest thing in history, or you have a lunatic that needs to be, you need to ragdoll the shit out of this guy and waterboard the shit out. Nobody can talk to a Navy officer like that and threaten to hold up the most powerful country in the world. You see how he's being exposed. So now I work him out, trying to talk about now I'm turned to mocking him, So I made myself a little meme. I don't really know how to make memes, but it's very elementary. But if you've seen the show The Office, now I have to mock him for not calling the FBI as the clock winds down. That's Dwight. What's the procedure? Contact the FBI? Not a viable option. We're about an hour in. You want to? Okay, let's keep going. What should we do? Stay fucking calm. Use the surge of fear and adrenaline to sharpen your decision making. If there is a revolution, I believe that's more on you than me. So 4 o'clock the next morning. Quick question, Professor. Would you not agree that I exhibit not only a very great desire to do some act of great violence to stop the State of the Union address, to get you to release the file against Laura Jean Sullivan case, but that I also demonstrate a very high aptitude to carry it out as well? I'm so sorry, it's hazy to me, isn't it? Motive means an opportunity. At a bare minimum, is it not safe to say that my messages to you are alarming? And wouldn't it be a far more accurate description to call these messages alarming in the extreme? Mr. Warpinski, is it not safe to say that I present myself as a man who has been radicalized with profound conviction? Joe, if Agent Haddock does not have that file by 5 p.m. Wednesday, the State of the Union address will not be delivered as scheduled because there will be no one left in D.C. to give it. I also need a letter of apology to my niece. It can be brief, and I'll accept an IOU for the bunny rabbit. I don't want you touching it, Justin. Did you just say, yes, I understand? Did you ever see the movie Inception? Well, last night I had a dream that you had a dream that the president saw. Oh, I think this is serious. Well, last night I had a dream that you had a dream that the president had seen your video of Laura shooting that guy's head off, and that because he was so horrified, he couldn't stop dreaming about it. Get it? A dream within a dream within a dream? Everyone who sees that video can't stop dreaming about it. Want to know what I dream about? The State of the Union address on Thursday.